The double up yesterday. I noticed Anne-Marie was on her knees. Down there recording. Was that?
Anne-Marie was on her knees. We started.
Okay.
And that's what she said actually when she was down there. Yeah, she took her wee pod track unit up and did a wee piece for radio.
Ah, right. Okay. So she's
I know.
Smart thing.
I know, and like that's so decent, like, you know. So we had spent like an hour and 10 minutes of just been pretty feral, and then we had to be Radio Ulster.
Yeah, I get you.
You know, which
Sometimes.
Mickey seemed to slip into. He was fine.
Mm-hmm.
I was really thinking about more words and all.
Yeah, sometimes it is a problem. Whenever that's my biggest fear about working on Radio Ulster is that what happens if they just go and listen to my podcasts, and I go, it's probably a problem when that happens.
That would be a problem. Actually, Anne-Marie did tell me that you were bold. You were bold on her show or your show.
No, right now.
Something to do with a confectionery joke.
Now, what happened? Now, I've been told by the people who took the episode off Sounds that it was Anne-Marie's fault that it got taken off Sounds. Now, it's not my fault that her mind is in the gutter, I'm afraid, and what I happened to say may or may not have been taken. What it was, we were chatting about rings, like wedding rings, what rings mean, what's the sort of the meaning behind rings, and obviously commitment and things. And I just happened to say that, you know, back in school days, you would have like given people like wee Haribo rings. For a start, you can't just say Haribo. That was a problem.
Oh yeah, right
other
enough.
Confectionery brands are available.
Other rings are available.
So I just said like, but the handy thing about in school, if you wanted to break up with someone, you didn't need to get a divorce or get rid of the ring or anything. You just had to go up and eat the ring.
Just eat the ring in the
said,
playground.
Eat the ring, yeah. And then she went, and then it was about 2 minutes worth of just trying to come back from that. You know?
How do you come back from that though? You can't.
No, I just said, that's what I said. If she had just gone, okay, and moved on, it would have been.
Yeah, I know, it's super professional.
But that's the downside of myself and Anne-Marie. We are both, if you put two devils together, they encourage each other, and that's why I think sometimes when we're put on radio together, it's maybe for a one-off. It doesn't happen long term.
I am hugely jealous of the whole radio thing. I would love to be on radio.
Mm-hmm.
I was down with Kate and Vinny once.
Yeah.
I haven't been asked back. Mm-hmm. I can't imagine why. I think I was a bit wry. There was a lot cut out of it. I think it was like a, you know, entertainment.
Yes.
You know what's on in NI this weekend.
That's right.
And I had to have a wee look and be like, there's a bat gathering or something on out somewhere in Tyrone. Somewhere really dark. But I don't know, but you could go bat spotting.
What I'm going to say is I think the only issue there, I don't think it's a personal thing. I think what they've done is they used to have, I think, a few other people do that. Like I think Darren did that for a bit, and then with a few other guys coming in doing the weekend stuff. But now they've one guy, Julian. He does it. Julian Simmons.
I mean,
so Julian just and so I mean, if you're gonna be bumped by anybody, it's got to be the icon himself. Like
I know, and he's so effortless.
He's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I had a real fun moment with Julian recently when I was filling in for Vinny, and he comes in, he does the weekend update about what's happening and everything, and he's to pick a song, and he would have like a lot of time he loves Shirley Bassey, so he would have a Shirley Bassey number, something like that. This day he comes in, he goes, I would like Juicy by Doja Cat, or like, and then so we had to play it. So there's Julian Simmons sitting all suited up, smelling delectable as per, just listening to this very weird modern hip hop sort of rap song.
I really want to hear him say the words Doja Cat.
Oh, it was brilliant. I think I have a video of him now. This is probably, I don't know if he knows I took this, but it was just to me going, this is one of those life moments, just watching Julian Simmons listening to Doja Cat, that to me was just a real, you know, it's like this is just for, I'm just going to keep this for me. You know?
Was he vibing? Was he vibing?
Oh, he was.
He
was vibing, but then the song was okay, so we were looking at it for clearance, and I was like, that might be okay. And then he paused it and have a chat about something, and he hit pause, and it was something like eat this big wet black pussy and all. Oh. And I think that's probably going to get cut. I think that's probably going to be cut, Julian. Yeah. So then I think he ended up going for Cilla Black or something instead.
Cilla Black.
Like a real swerve. It's like, not those.
Eat my big scouse pussy.
Eat my fire crotch.
Her old Cilla. They reckon Cilla was a bad old cunt, you know.
Apparently so. Somebody who was telling the story that, I mean,
not speak ill of the dead, obviously.
No, I don't want to out Julian again, but I feel like it was maybe Julian.
Oh, Jesus.
Told me she was a bad egg.
Right.
On the planes.
Oh.
Yeah. So
I'd say she'd been
she might have had a wee bit of attitude about her on the airlines.
I know the Beatles.
Yeah.
Move.
I think she was like that, and I think like, well, now again, this may or may not have been Julian. I'm not 100% sure. If I was a bet man, I'd say 90% it was Julian. But I think he was like, the husband was real embarrassed and all. Like, I'm sorry.
Bobby. Was that he? Was it Bobby?
I think
Bobby White.
Yeah.
There was a man around here. He called Bobby White.
Bobby White.
Yeah.
Maybe Jimmy, but he's a snooker player, isn't he?
No, he's a snooker player. He's not from Newry either. Great guy.
Let me know off.
Do you like
Jimmy
snooker?
White. I love snooker.
Yeah.
You know, my old boy's big into snooker now.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm the biggest disappointment, I think, in my dad's life that I don't play snooker.
I joined whenever I went to Queen's for 6 weeks. I was hugely at sea. I didn't know what to do, where to go, where to be, how to do anything. I wasn't ready to leave school. And went to the big smoke of Belfast. And the girls that I went with, 3 of them were all doing the same degree. One girl was over like in the NBC, like way over there, and I was just this geek that was doing like politics and sociology.
Of course, yeah. Sociology, what a.
I know. Lecturer didn't wear a bra.
Was it a fella or a girl?
Oh, it was a girl.
Okay.
Not in a good way.
No.
But just I noticed she was braless.
Very. I mean, that's ahead of her time, wouldn't you say?
It was ahead of something.
Yeah.
Ahead of her belt. Yeah. But anyway, says me, Perky herself. What are we talking
about? So your friends were over at the NBC and you were studying sociology.
I joined the Queen's Snooker Club. Because I thought you have to do these are the things you have to do to make friends and associates. And I joined the Queen's Snooker Club, and I think I tried to break, and I was like, I'm leaving immediately because I can play pool all day long, but it's not pool. No, snooker's not. And it's not a fun game as a child when you get brought along to play, and your dad's like, just be good. And you're like, oh my God. And it turns out my dad's very close friends with Mark Allen's dad. Oh really? They're very close. So I think whenever Mark was coming through as a snooker protege, and I was just shit, I think my dad was like, I got the wrong one. Oh no. Yeah. I wish I'd read Mark's ma. Yeah. I know. Well, I mean, I don't know what they were up to in those days, but I don't think that happened. So. Yeah. I love my TikTok. I go through phases where the algorithm is just all snooker videos. So it's Jimmy, like Queen, King of the Screw. You know. Yes. Some of the things he was a wizard. There's some of the tricks, but then he was probably the most glorious loser in the history of snooker. You know, which is God love him. Sad. You know, but what an icon he is too. You know what I mean? He's a hero. He is. But that's the thing with snooker too, is like it's one of those things that whenever like the big competitions are on, like the UK Masters or the World Championships, you just get into it. Like and then this week as well, you have Ronnie Sullivan getting the biggest break of all time, 153. Explain it to me. How did that happen? 153 was it? I think there has to be either like a foul or something, or a false shot or something. Again, I'm not a snooker expert, but by any means. But there was some. I actually did look it up because I couldn't figure out how it happened. I think somebody did a foul or an error before. Right, so I was going to say it must have been a foul on the break, but I suppose not necessarily, because you can. Then whatever happened, he got points before he started. So does that mean he gets? Or else you get another opportunity of a reset ball. I think he definitely potted it. You know what? Let's look it up. Let's not be. Do you know what? Is it annoying to you that you don't have your little minions here to be like fact check? You know it does, because the young boys are always very, very good at that. Yeah. We actually found out last night that Kieran Franco's in the Mossad, so it was an interesting thing to find out. So this is the joy of Google and podcasting. Yeah. So it was a lot of fun. Let me see. Yeah, I don't have producers. I have a dog. Yeah, well that's better. It is. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to use AI here. I'm going to just straight up ask. Just going to ask. I have audio, so I don't have to read it out. Yep. Okay, let's see. Hello, can you please explain to me how Ronnie O'Sullivan got the break of 153 whenever the maximum break in snooker is 147, please?
So that 153 break is a bit of a unique scenario. In a standard snooker frame, yes, the maximum traditional break is 147. That's potting all reds with blacks, then all the colours. But Ronnie O'Sullivan's 153 happened under a special set of conditions, what's often called a foul and a free ball situation. In that situation, after a foul, the next player can nominate a free ball as if it's an extra red. So technically, it adds another red and colour sequence before you start the normal routine. It's not common, but under the rules, it's possible to exceed 147 this way. It's like a little loophole in the break building universe.
And how did specifically Ronnie O'Sullivan do that? What happened to lead up to that?
In Ronnie's case, it was a rare but fun exhibition scenario. To be clear, it wasn't in a formal ranking match. During an exhibition, a deliberate foul happened early on, leaving a free ball situation. Ronnie nominated an extra red, even though it was a colour, and then potted it along with a colour, adding that 15th red to the break. From there, he played as if he had one extra red on the table. After potting all these extra sequences, he went on to clear the...
Thanks. There we go. So that's a lot of interesting knowledge for people. So I didn't know it was an exhibition match, so we may as well not have done it then.
It's like your man that did the 2-hour marathon but doesn't actually count.
Yeah.
Kipchoge. Was it Kipchoge? Did
Yeah.
the 2-hour
Did
or
he die?
sub 2 hour? No.
No,
He just ran 26 miles in less than 2 hours.
Yeah, that's a bit much.
That's like running from here to Dungannon
In 2 hours.
in 2 hours.
Have you ever seen those guys run? Like, have you ever seen like marathon, like professional marathon runners?
Yeah.
They're
I've
wild.
seen people
They're
try to
wild.
replicate it like on a treadmill, their pace. And it's just like, holy shit. I was going to say that I've never actually given ChatGPT an audio prompt in my
Yeah.
life. And I was not expecting that voice. That guy sounds like he's just stepped off doing a Channel 5 documentary about a serial killer.
You can change them up, the voices, if you wish. You know, I just feel like more comfortable. That guy keeps me calm. You know.
Yeah.
So-
It's like he's a wee bit like, it's like he's come from Danny Dyer stock,
Yeah.
but he's,
But he's learned how to be professional.
yeah.
But if he wants to turn up, he fucking can.
Yeah.
But if he wants to be formal, he can too.
Yes. Do you do any voiceover work?
I would love to do voiceover work. I keep saying, get me voiceover work, but it just doesn't seem to come through.
I would love voiceover work, but I was told one time that I sounded like a Barcroft Bart Simpson.
Wow.
Barcroft being a large housing development in Newry.
Who told you that? Well, you know what? Don't let somebody shatter your dreams. You know?
Shatter?
Don't let them shatter your dreams.
No. I don't have that lovely, sexy, like Anne-Marie. Anne-Marie went into full Radio Ulster mode here
Yeah.
just for like one sentence, and it was like,
But see, Anne-Marie would be also did the continuity for a long time before she was actually presenting, so she's able to do that lovely voice. And
Yeah.
it is, yes. A good
Jordan does it as well. You know, Jordan on
voice. Jordan
Q?
Arnold.
Yes. She does it as well. It's like, holy, it's mental.
But it's weird because the voice I can't get my head around is, and thankfully I don't have to do it on Radio Ulster. Now I do it every single time before we start, and I think it winds people up, is I go into commercial radio voice. I'm like, guys, we are here today. It is Thursday morning on BBC Radio Ulster. If you want to text in, you can text us in on 81771. Or you
When
can,
it's safe to do so.
and, yeah, or you can send us a WhatsApp on 03030 80 55 55. Let us know what you're having for breakfast today. We're keen to know. And I find like the channel that I think, and I mean, I've never been asked to do anything on this channel ever, or station, sorry, is Cool FM. But I find it really frustrating when people say, you are listening to Cool.
Cool FM.
You're listening to, not even the FM, they don't even need it. They
Oh,
just,
yeah, it's
you're listening
on
to Cool.
Cool.
You're on Cool. I'm like, we're not cool. I'm 40.
Yeah, it's not cool. The radio isn't cool these days because it be on in that wee shop in the background. And do you see all these guys like Dermot Kennedy, Noah Kahn, Tom? Is it Grennan?
Yeah.
Who are all these white men and why do they all sound the same?
Just be careful when you're talking about Tom Grennan around Anne-Marie.
She love him.
Loves him. That's her number one fave.
Oh,
Yeah, she loves
what does
him.
he sing?
He sings a
Who
Gillette
knows?
advert. That's all I know.
Does he sing it? Is
Gillette,
that
the
effort?
best a man can get.
Yeah, that's a banger.
Yeah.
That
But
is
no,
banger.
I have a real bee in my bonnet about people who sing with a different voice than they talk. Winds me up.
Okay.
Like your man, Dermot Kennedy's really like that.
Is he?
Yeah.
See, I don't know. Again, all I know is I think they all sing Stick Season.
Yeah.
It's that line. It's the alcohol to my
But do you like to change songs and make your own wee version? I like to sing Dick Season, which is a personal favourite of
Dick
mine.
Season.
Yeah.
I used to. I was actually talking to somebody about this last night, and I remember back in school days. Yeah, myself and my friend Anna. Shout out to Anna. We did a rewrite of "Key to My Life" by Boyzone.
Nice.
"Key to My Bum."
All right, there you go. I mean, it doesn't even sound similar. That's what I like
You
about that.
came along and made me excrete, girl. You're the key to my bum.
I mean, that's beautiful.
You like that?
That's nice, yeah.
We were first years, like.
Yeah, I love doing that.
That
Unfortunately, sometimes there's been a couple of times I had like a mic on me. I remember once I was filming a video and I forgot that there was a mic recording and I was singing songs about like just sucking dick and all. And I was like, that's probably people are going to pick up and be like, that's a bit weird that he's doing that.
I'm sucking dick.
Yeah, stuff like that.
I want the world to know.
Yeah. And then everybody in that edit suite were like, yeah, that's a problem.
That is a
Can't
problem.
put that in the edit, that's a problem.
You love... I'm surprised you never made your way like into a boy band.
Yeah, you know what? I think I have more of a hope of getting in a man band now.
You've got good pipes, like.
Thank you very much.
And you sing well as well. I remember like whenever you and Shane used to do the Spanish singers.
Yes.
You actually have Shane, not so much.
But again, I can pull a tune, but he absolutely loves it. Like to the point where sometimes he loves it too much that it's uncomfortable. Like if you're out with him, he goes, let's go to karaoke bar. I'm like, nah, let's just go for a beer. We don't have to perform all the time. He
sang 21 Seconds by So Solid Crew at me on a podcast one time. Relentless.
Yeah. I know, but that's the thing too. After a minute, you go, all right, and then you look away and then they're still... I
was like, please stop. Just please make this end.
I have a photo with Romeo from So Solid Crew, actually, from whenever I went on holidays to Napa, I think. And it was, when you're younger, you're trying to be cool. And he was like in So Solid Crew. So I'm there wearing a lime green polo shirt, pointed sideburns, hair, no beard, going, the camera pouting and all. He's just like...
Did you pop the collar?
Oh, why? Of course. Yeah. Sweatbands up the forearm and all.
Oh.
You better believe it.
That's pure 2003, 2004.
Yeah, that was great.
Justin Timberlake.
But I mean, what a time that was to be alive. I met Romeo that summer. I also met Pat Sharp that summer as well. It was actually Magaluf, now we're thinking about it. And then just the final nail in the coffin was disgraced rap DJ Westwood. Oh, yeah.
Is Westwood still alive?
Oh, he's still alive, baby. But he's just disgraced because he's a sex pervert.
What did
Drop
he do?
a bomb.
What apart from drop bombs?
I think he just was a bit of a sex creep. He's always getting the walt out and all.
Right. Okay.
A
sex pest as opposed to a.
I don't think he's a nonce. I think he's a sex pervert. Yeah.
I mean, these days, there's
Yeah.
You have to be like, credit where credit's due.
Yeah. Fair play to you for not being a nonce. I think
fair play to you for not, stepping over the line completely.
I mean, that's where I kind of draw the line, I think, in terms of being a super celebrity. And if I was ever super rich and wealthy, I'd be like, can I not just enjoy my money and do fun things? Like, I don't need to get the kids.
Somebody said this recently, because we're talking about the whole Epstein thing, and I think it was actually Amanda. I don't know who it was, but we were having this conversation. It was like, all that money would put you mad. They're like, I don't think it would matter how much money I had. I don't think it would make me want to actively have sex with a child.
Nah, I mean...
abuse a child.
But you know what I would actually like to do in that scenario? I would like to take the children away from the nonsense and give them a better life if I had that money. I'd be like, and then I think it would be like Jeff, what the fuck are you at? Like,
yeah.
And then I would probably... But then people are probably worried they might get killed, wouldn't they? But I'd probably maybe rather be killed than be involved in all that. Would you rather be killed than be Prince Andrew? Probably.
I just get the feeling that Prince Andrew's probably sitting somewhere eating like loads of different tubs of Pringles in his pants, just laughing. He probably doesn't really care.
Yeah.
He doesn't strike me as an intelligent man that would have the wit to care.
No, but did you ever see that was really funny? There was like a Vice report or something. It's on YouTube, but it's like one of his bodyguards or like minders or something was on talking about him. Have you seen this? And the guy's like, we had a nickname for him. It's like, it's pretty well thought up of it. What was it? The cunt.
Yeah.
It's like, well thought out. There's lots of layers to that, isn't there?
Do you know what? Actually, because it's an English person, because it's because that's not really a prevalent word. If it was over here, you'd be like, fair, yeah. But the fact it was an English guy, the cunt.
Yeah, but like when you're a cunt over there, you're a cunt. Like, but here, you could be just your best mate could be a cunt.
Yeah, you'd be 100%.
But no, it was fun. And then there was a whole thing about his teddy bears. Did you hear about that? It's weird. Apparently, he had like a laminated sheet of a photograph of his bed of where he likes to arrange his teddy bears, and his housekeeper would have to do it exactly as per the sheet.
That's
weird.
Would you admit to it?
No. But you know what though? That's why I think Fergie, not Sir Alex, the Duchess, I think that's why she was still living on Windsor and all. I think she knew what he was like, and was like, I'll just keep it under my hat if you let me live here and all.
See, I'd be a great woman for an audiobook, and I've been listening to the audiobook about the Yorks.
Yeah.
About him and her, and like one as bad as the other.
Yeah. Do you think it's like they're like kind of like the British Clintons? Because they're another two. You're like, they're bad eggs there.
You think so?
Oh, why?
Yeah.
Bill Clinton? Yeah.
Bad guy.
he's a bad guy. And I think if you're about, that's like, you know the way they say like Mrs. Fritzl didn't know what Joe was up to. I think he probably had an idea he's not up to no good somewhere along the lines.
He's just gone out to a men's shed.
Yeah, I mean, but he comes back, his mental health is great. Like, he's like, well, that's a bit.
Mrs. Fritzl. That's funny.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
even that word is
Yeah.
Mrs. Fritzl.
I don't know what he was doing downstairs that whole time.
Yes. Mrs. Fritzl is not Slimming World this week. Why?
Oh, well, you know, we'll never believe the handling Joseph's cost.
Yeah, Joe's oh fuck.
Oh,
But you know what? In fairness, like none of his children ever brought any trouble to his door.
no. Well, actually, technically,
Keep him in the house.
yeah, true, but he told the people that his children did bring trouble to his door, as in the grandchildren,
I mean,
to the door. Yeah.
it was a super
Yeah.
super scheme, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Leave child on door with note saying
Yeah.
I'm away.
I'd be like, why does the child look like a baby woodlouse? Why is it like white and clear and see-through?
I know.
Like, it's an odd-looking creature.
I know.
You know, it looks like a bloody one of those Targaryen creatures.
Or like whenever are you a Harry Potter fan? Like in the last Harry Potter, whenever Voldemort's like under a bench, all like
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be something like that, and you'd be like, oh no, Elizabeth has left us another fan.
And as a fan,
Wow.
throw it into the fire.
Oh, what a coincidence. You'd be like, no, jokes. What?
Who's your favourite serial killer?
You know what, here's the thing, right? I'll tell you who
Sorry, I know Joseph. I know you're not a serial killer, but you know, just
I'll tell you my least favourite is Harold Shipman.
okay.
Just for the money, not for the love of the game.
You think he was just a
Big numbers, but he didn't. I think you need to be grotesque to be like, to really have to sort of get my morbid curiosity going. You need to do something crazy.
you need to have like a wee kink.
Like for me, the whole story of Dahmer and him being caught and the stuff in the fridge and the bodies and all that's just like, that
Yeah.
really that whole story fascinates me. Who else I'm interested in that I think's pretty wild? There was a guy, Robert Picton, and he had a pig farm up in Canada. He would kill people and throw their bodies into the pig farm. The pigs would eat them. That's pretty creepy.
It is pretty creepy. It's also a great way to, you know, keep things clean and tidy.
Yeah.
But who like you did criminology, didn't you?
Mm-hmm. And sociology,
And sociology,
social policy,
with
don't worry about
the
it.
with the swinging ditty herself.
Yes.
Who was it sort of like piqued your interest in the whole murder genre?
I think it was probably, you know what, it was my auntie would tell me stories, like horror stories and scary stories. It transpired that like one in particular was from Halloween, was just the story of Michael Myers. She would be all scared. My auntie was all skinny with like long fingernails and all, and she'd be telling you scary stories and it was giving me the willies. She's like, and there was a knitting needle went through his neck. And, and then when I got older, what's Halloween? You go, you fucking hack bitch. She just stole this whole story.
Fucker.
She's just a fucking plagiarising bastard, this woman.
Do you know what? My aunties just smoked and drank.
Yeah.
There was never any storytelling. Like,
No, but she loved it. No, she did smoke and drink too. But don't worry. But she loved that and telling me that story. And then when you get older, and you're like, by the way, you hear certain films are based on people, and you go, what? Like Hannibal Lecter's a combination of a few different cases, and you're like Buffalo Bill's Jeffrey Dahmer and Ed Gein apparently together. And you're like, that's like the whole Ed Gein.
yeah, that
thing's,
makes sense.
you know, madness. And then you watch that and you go, fuck, that is true. And,
Yeah.
and then you look into them and you go, that's, you know, they all say like fact is stranger than fiction.
So is your love of it sort of born of fictional tales?
I think so. And then because you're obviously, as you should be, sheltered from stuff like that as a child.
Well, I wasn't sheltered from anything as a child. I forget I'm a couple of years older than you, so I probably have the jump on you for this. You're not 40 yet, are you?
No, this year, coming up September.
Yeah. So whenever Fred and the whole Fred and Rose West
yes.
thing blew up, I was like, I don't know, whatever, like 11 or something.
Yeah.
And you'd come home every day from school and it would be like ITN News would be on at like 5 o'clock and it was like just live camera,
Yeah.
you know, guy doing piece to camera that all the guys in the background digging and shit and they're like, you know, they found another 3 bodies at Martin, you know, and it's like, blah, blah. And I'm like, holy fuck, so you're coming home every day being like, fuck Green Chill, I don't care about that.
Yeah.
Let's give me the news. And then, the count just started getting higher and higher and I was like,
That was that whole
this
story.
is mental. Although I have listened to podcasts and audiobooks about them and holy shit. There was one it's the only time I've ever had to stop listening. I couldn't do it anymore. Not good. Really bad. Yeah.
But like the whole story there was grim, wasn't it? About the way the kids were treated, the step kids, just sad. You know what I mean? Sad.
Rose West had electroshock therapy, or whatever it's called. No, she didn't. Sorry, her mother did while she was pregnant with Rose. So they reckon that there was some kind of neurological disturbance there.
Yeah.
Whenever Rose appeared.
But see, when you see those cases, you go, it's mental that two people so fucked up could end up collaborating.
No.
You know?
What really gets me is that at one point in time, I can't remember, I did ask ChatGPT this, I typed it. Dennis Nielsen, Rose and Fred, and the Yorkshire Ripper
Sutcliffe
coincided at one stage, as in they were all active for like a period of a couple of years, all at the same time, in a relatively small part of the world.
Yeah, that would be.
You know,
yeah,
that's mental.
Yeah, that is mad. And what I always get freaked out about is when you look up how many active serial killers there would be in the world now. Like, back in those days, it seemed to be, like, quite common to have a few of them coming out in and around that area. Like, nowadays, it'd be hard to be a serial killer and get away with it.
Dash cams have fucked everything up.
You know,
and ring doorbells.
Yeah, and IP addresses and all sorts would be. Like that awful case of Natalie McNally, who was murdered here, and thankfully... the bastard that did it got found guilty. But even the whole, like, going into filming a live stream and setting it all up, or the fact that was so pre-planned is just, it turns you. I think that's maybe why I'm interested in that sort of thing, is because I can't fathom how anybody could think in a way to do something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the thing that baffles me. And then when they do gross things like the dammers and the cannibalism and the cutting the bodies up and all that stuff, just it gives me the willies, you know. I get
how someone, like, I can get a crime of passion or whatever where you literally lose the head and you maybe hit somebody over the head with a blunt object.
Yeah.
But you do it once or twice and then you go, there has to be a moment of reason where you go, oh shit, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
You know, as opposed to someone who, again, as you say, premeditates, plans, and repeats this, and you're like, that I don't understand.
Like, that's what,
all right.
He's had enough. That's what I think.
Stop talking about serial killers.
There's something as well that I certainly have noticed since I've had, like, kids, is that you can see why in some circumstance people who aren't right or aren't completely rational could snap. You know what I mean? Like yesterday, I had real trouble with Matilda. She was really just being so bad, and you couldn't reason with her. She was scratching herself. She's bad eczema, and her skin was bleeding, and she wouldn't stop it. Just screaming and fighting, and I just couldn't settle her. And like, you could see, like, and it was really stressing me out, and really, like, getting me, like, I could feel myself getting really, like, I think I'm gonna have a bloody heart attack here. And you can maybe see the people that aren't, like, under control of their emotions or that have anger issues could snap and, like, you know, do something in a moment that you're like, that's what I think. Maybe there needs to be more done for people like that and situations on there. Now, thankfully, what the move to do was got her in, had a cold shower, got a wee bit of the cream on her, and just had a sit in the chat with her rather than, you know, trying to tell her she wasn't doing anything. He said, so I just sat down and went, what's bothering you? What's wrong with you? I don't know. I was like, well, you need to try and take a wee minute, take a deep breath, get your wee inhaler on board, have a settle. And then, of course, I went out to work last night and left her with Catherine, and she said she was a great girl, had a great time. Whereas I got her from school until I left. 4 hours later, it was like you didn't know what to be doing, and she's being horrible to Holly and just being.
What age is she?
5. So she's just, and then you feel shit for her too, 'cause you know she's got itchy skin, you know she's uncomfortable, you can't do anything, and you tell her to stop scratching, she just keeps shouting, I can't, and you're going, oh, pet, you know. But at the same time, you're really, like, you're antsy as well, and you're trying to solve, and you don't know, and you're just, because I waited with me and Catherine, I fall out the other day because I was just, the kids were on me all day, Daddy, what are we doing now? Daddy, what's this, that? And I just couldn't. So I went in to find something in the utility room to, like, nail down their slide so they could go out and play in the slide. And it was like the 10 seconds I was away from being asked questions. And then Catherine followed me in, what are you doing here? I was like, I'm looking for one thing. Can I just have a minute, please? And she was like, oh, snap at me. What way are you speaking? And I was like, I'm sorry, I just got the end of my tether. But
so how do you manage that? Because I know obviously you've done, you know, are you still an ambassador for Action Mental
Yeah,
Health?
I am, and we're doing a wee show with them in May. So we are.
That's right.
Yeah, a couple
In
of,
Mac.
the Mac, yeah, a couple of gigs in the Mac, and then one up in Derry. But I just think I think that there's so many. This is why I get a bit annoyed about stuff here in Northern Ireland for a particular reason. Is I think we often sweat the small stuff in the grand scheme of things and worry about things like, are we going to have Ulster Scots on this? Are we going to have signage here? And you're going, there are people dying because there's no provision for health here. People can't see a GP. People can't get their mental health sorted. What are we doing about it? And they're worrying about stupid stuff. It winds me up. So I think, if you tried to sort the people out and give them access to healthcare and access to, mental health services and funding the services that are providing that, you help. Like the biggest thing when I did the cycle around the country last year, I was in Fermanagh, and one of the guys working in the Fermanagh office had said that in Enniskillen, that in that area in Fermanagh, in the month of September last year, 2025, 12 people committed suicide in September, and that's staggering. And that's because they're not, there's no provision, because obviously being like from where we're from, obviously we have it's busier. We're like in cities, there's people about the place with probably family close by. We're always talking to somebody. If you're living in rural areas, you're out there by yourself. Like you could have a wee turn and having a real struggle with your mental health, and you could be having a real bout of ill mental health. You've no one to talk to, you've no one to see, and then your thoughts or whatever get the better of you, and then things like that happen. It's just shit, like, so it's...
Yeah, so...
and this is a fun comedy podcast for people to love and enjoy,
Well, in fairness, I haven't built this as a comedy podcast. It's an anything could happen podcast.
Good.
Because obviously that is bound to be freezing, lad.
I know, but I love it. It's tasty.
A cold latte.
It's lukewarm.
You sick shit.
Yeah.
I obviously, because you're sitting in this wee counselling room, and sometimes I wonder, like, how much of the problems that you just mentioned there and the issues that you mentioned are down to, in part, our own systemic attitudes towards everything. So, we're not, okay, so the narrative's changing now and has been for many years about talking and the importance of talking and stuff like that. But there's still this default setting of, sure.
Yeah.
Sure, what would be the point? Sure, you can't change it. And I think a lot of people think that just because you can't change something, then there's no point going and talking about it, because you're not going to find a solution that don't see that the value is in just the sharing of the story. And that's something that I always sort of try and... Not pitch, I don't mean it like that, but this is what I do, is very much a talking therapy, as opposed to let's look at solutions, let's look at interventions, that sort of CBT stuff that you get, and again, CBT as a therapy is one that's relied upon hugely, I think, in the health service, because it is time limited and it's solution focused, and there's an outcome. But I think a lot of people, especially older people, like, so say 40 up, which is still very young, people need to talk first. They need to get what's been hanging there off and out before they start looking at goal setting and stuff like that. But because that's your first meeting with counselling, then I think a lot of people stumble, but not through their own fault. And then whenever they do stumble on it, they think, well, that doesn't work for me. I've tried counselling, it doesn't work. I must be beyond counselling. Yeah. But again, is a wee bit better than nothing? I
think so, because I mean, in my personal experience, only kind of, like, I had a real bad dip a few years ago. I think it was just a lot of stress in life. I was sort of moving house, getting married, having the kids, all around the time. I got moved job, but I didn't want to be, and it was far away, and there's postnatal depression Catherine had, and there's Holly wasn't, and it was just a lot, and I just didn't feel good, and I didn't know what was wrong with me. I couldn't rationalise what I was feeling, which was the thing. And for a couple of days, apparently I just didn't do anything. I just sat and watched the TV and didn't like go and shower, did nothing. And I wasn't going to the gym. I had a real, like, almost a fear of going to the gym. Like, the thought of me going, I'd almost shout at you, being like, no, don't tell me, I don't want to go. I really didn't want to. And it was only through just Catherine being like, what is wrong with you? I think for her to go, I think there's something wrong. You should go try and speak to the doctor. When I went to the doctor and had a chat, even just having someone go, this is normal to feel like this. These are options we can do. How do you feel? And then just saying what I was feeling. He's like, that's totally normal. Whereas I think I was trying to deal with it myself, and because I couldn't fathom what was going on, I thought there was something wrong with me. I couldn't deal with it. And I think just for me personally, speaking to him, again, he did offer me medication for it, but by the time I took it, it took 6 weeks to kick in, and I was due to get married and stuff, and I was like, you don't want to just be going out in the pints and just as soon as your depression medication kicks in. So I'm like, you know what, I'll give it a go. And I felt personally, for me, just speaking that was a massive weight off my shoulder. And then again, from that moment, it's helped me anytime where you can kind of, I think, feel like the clouds are gathering and you're feeling there's issues. You help rationalise things, and you don't let yourself get into that habit. And then I think it depends on what your personality type is like as well. And I think sometimes people worry so much about what's the end, what's the solution, that you forget that actually getting closer to that is progress.
Yeah.
You know?
I think I know certainly for me, whenever I went through the sort of the couple of batches of good counselling, and I had counselling before where I didn't feel heard and supported. And I sort of felt a bit stupid, for going. And I mean, it was just, it's two personalities in a room. Not everybody gets on.
Yeah.
You don't just automatically vibe with someone. And I think that, a part of it come down to that. It could have been down to maybe it just wasn't my time to go. But when I did get that sort of like, okay, right. It was understanding me and, not understanding me, but understanding how the things in my life that had gone before had impacted me. And how, whenever you have, a stranger essentially in a room, being sort of objective and saying, no, that's, like you say, that's normal. If you, and whenever they get you to also look at your life objectively and say, right, hold on, so this happened here and this happened here and this happened here, if that happened to one of your friends, how would you feel for them? And I'd be like, I'd feel terrible for them. I'd be really worried about them. Okay. So whenever you start looking at a wee bit more, looking at yourself compassionately, I found that a lot of the solutions just came on their own.
Yeah.
You didn't have to sort of target them and say, well, just that forgiveness of yourself, and just not lightening up. That sounds very dismissive, but being compassionate towards yourself, you sort of go, all right, okay, and things tend to fall a wee bit more into place.
Yeah. And I think sometimes too, like, I don't think people acknowledge enough that we have a lot to think about all the time nowadays, that your brain's probably fried a bit. You know what I mean? And like, I find, like, I certainly feel that there's a lot of, like, given if you're a comedian or you're podcasting or whatever, people are always asking you questions about what are your thoughts on this, or do you watch news, what's the thought? And sometimes it's okay not to have opinions on things. Do you know what I mean? Because you can take on too much. You better be careful about what you say. You don't want to offend anybody, you don't want to upset, and then there's always consequences, and you're stressed and worried about stuff like that as well. And sometimes I think, like, it is okay to not, try to, like again, our phones are right there and you can see what's going on across the world straight away, and then you can't help but go, oh no, and feel a bit wet, and it's just a lot sometimes to process. And I think, like,
it is, and I think you're right about the, because you have this proliferation of media everywhere you go, and not to sound dismissive again or by any stretch of the imagination, but people have were saying, what about the war in Iran and war here and war, and I'm thinking to myself, yes, it's terrible, and I'm not even going to get into that. That's a foregone conclusion that it's fucking awful and it needs to stop. But there's always been war. Like, you think about the like growing up, the Gulf War, stuff happening in Lebanon. Like, there's been genocide. But it wasn't in our pockets. Yeah. And now it is. Yeah. So you can't fail to be like, holy shit. Yeah. But at the same time, do you know what
I feel like we live in a very, like, we live in a very grey world, but I think a lot of people expect your opinions to be black or white. Do you know? I think, like, everything is so nuanced. Like, obviously, you look at what's going on in Palestine, horrific. Like, by any stretch of anyone's imagination, it's horrific. And some people justify it for whatever reason, and you're going, but the ends do not justify the means of what they're doing there. And at the same time, you're like, yeah, Israel is Israel at the same time, what Hamas did at that festival, I'm going, that's out of order too. It's like going around and, you know, trying to raise a place to the ground, committing a genocide is completely disproportionate to anything. Do you know what I mean? And it's just, but people are like, what you said this, I'm like, no, I think of what all sides are horrible. I think what Israel are doing is bang out of order, but there's clearly something there, or they're of an interest politically to the West that they're kind of going, actually, you know, like if it was Russia doing that in Ukraine, it would be, but it's the, I think when you realise that, you know, the old, like, it's like that sketch Mitchell and Webb did where they're the Nazis, and like, what, we're the bad guys?
Aye.
Like, you realise a bit, you're like, there's more going on with politics, there's more dirtiness behind there that you're better off not knowing.
Yeah.
Do you know,
and I mean,
it's just
if
awful.
you did know, and you know, you made it your business to find out and to try and to know all of these things, you would absolutely, your head would literally melt down into the rest of your body.
Like see, from being from here, right? There's so much of people are like, you know, it's either right or it's wrong, and you're either Protestant or Catholic, you're either loyalist or Republican. Yeah, I think normal people can look at both sides and go, yeah, I get their justification for allegedly doing this, but the means of doing that are ridiculous. Like, you can't take away from that, you know. And it's, I think maybe that's something that I've been a bit sheltered from because I'm from a mixed marriage, is that, you know, it's never been one side or other, or it's never been they're the bad guys or this and that. It's always been, you know, the people who commit atrocities are the wrong ones, like. And I think from that, it's like I try to see both sides, or any side, and like the same way as like some people would say, like, you know, hunger strikers are terrorists, they're the worst. I can go, there are people who have done something that's I can't process in my head, that they are willing to give up their lives in such a horrific way for something they believe in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's insane, like, that anyone feels strongly enough about anything to do that.
I mean, I don't even go to mass.
No,
you know,
like,
I don't even feel strongly enough about that to go every Sunday.
And that's why sometimes I'm like, you know what, maybe it's okay to joke about, not necessarily the horrible thing, but certain things. You should be allowed to joke about stuff, and people know that's not what you think. You know what I mean? I think sometimes if you make a joke about anything, or you say something about, like, you mention even a word, like I do a joke about the gist is basically one of my wife's mates did a skinny dip for Palestine, and I was like, what's this doing? It was just about 4 people just walking in the morning in the nip, ditties out into the sea with a Palestinian flag, and I thought, like, that's not really going to be what they need to end.
Please tell me you made a Gaza Strip joke.
No, I mean, I should have definitely done that, but they had the back facing us, so I didn't see that. But I did a joke, and like I remember doing it somewhere, and as soon as I said the word, I was like, is the war still going on? I was like, God, no. I try not to watch that. I try to avoid that, and I was like, oh no, the war's See, I thought it was over because I have a friend who did a skinny dip for Palestine. I thought that was it. I thought that's what they needed. Shit, you know, and I does get it. But then again, I'm like, it's not even worth saying the word sometimes, because if people hear the trigger, they go. But then sometimes you think you want to do it. Now, I remember I did it in a place in West Belfast, and there was a guy who was known as somebody who had committed a murder during the Troubles, and he was wearing a collaboration Celtic Palestine football shirt. And I was like, you know what? Didn't laugh. But you know what? I was sort of going, I have to do it anyway, because if you don't do them here, you're a pussy. And it took me a lot. I was MCing that night too, so it took me a lot to win them back on side.
You had to fucking stay. Oh, yeah. Jesus.
But I got the back. But I kept saying the punchline over and over again. I was like, because that's what I thought was going to... But I got them back in the end.
How did you get on? Hard. You were out in my neck of the woods.
Oh, don't even start me. That was a delight. That gig, Monabry.
Yeah, it's lovely,
Beautiful.
isn't it?
Camla.
Yeah, I live right across. No, it was. I think it was Willie.
No, you texted me and said I'm across the road here.
In the bath.
Oh, didn't you weren't in the bath whenever I was there? Sadly.
Yeah. No, it is. Yeah. It's lovely. I did it in the summertime.
Yeah.
There last year.
It was great, and like I love it whenever you get to go to a gig and the venue sound, the venue's suitable for stand up. The audience are up for it, and it's just a great crack. It was great. I got nice coffee, lovely cookies, even brought pizza in for us. It's a great time.
Big pizza for me the time I was there.
No, well, listen, this is what you expected now.
Bastards.
But it was brilliant, and it's also, it just went really well. Mm-hmm. Everyone listened. It was just a really fun time.
Yeah, I find, we venues got, and I suppose it sort of, whenever, like, it's my very, very, very local coffee place, so if I'm in the house and I'm like, coffee, I'll just nip over and take it back to the house with me.
But it's good coffee too.
It is good coffee. I whenever I went in that night and it was, you know, obviously all set up and stuff, I was looking at it and I was like, shit, this is great. And then I could see why my place, you know, people enjoyed it.
Oh,
it's the same kind of situation. You
know what? I don't know what it is. Like, and I don't know whether it's because I've had family from here or what. But over the years, Newry had some sort of reputation about being a little bit difficult, almost like. And people being like, "Oh no!" Anytime I've been, apart from the tour, we'll get on that another time. I've had a brilliant. I loved going to your place. Loved it every time. And then we're in there. It's just great. And I don't know what it is, whether they're just a good comedy audience or what the crack is. I just loved it, and they were a great crack as well.
I think maybe it depends on the venue, because obviously I'd been over there for a long time before the comedy thing started, and like, because I made this silly mistake financially of tethering my personality to the business and just having a laugh all the time. Yeah, there was a wee inbuilt community of people who loved the crack. Yeah. Now they may not have always, you know, in a lot of circumstances they weren't actually customers. Yeah, they wouldn't have been in, but they were so loyal to the social media presence. Yeah, like super buying merch. They might never have been in to have a fry. Like I had people from Belfast, from, you know, expats as such over in England, buying hats off me and just loving it and being so loyal. And then whenever the comedy thing came along, there was those people were like, I'm going to go to that. Yeah. So the crowd there was inbuilt and they were sound, you know, and they were there all the time. And I think Monterey's kind of a similar situation. Oh,
it was brilliant. It was, and I just think, like, I'm looking now, obviously, whenever, like, I'm planning the tour at the minute, which is going to be out, announced actually this week. So, there's nowhere in Newry, because again, I think, maybe people know this or not, but I think you and I are very similar in regards to our, what you see is what you get with this kind of thing, you know. And I'd be loyal to people that are good to me, and I'll be stubborn about places that aren't. So, like, whenever there was another venue that was kind of the enemy to your place, I wouldn't be near it, just because I'd be like, nah, if who doesn't like it, out with me. Right, okay. You know? And that's what happened. Like, I remember any time I'd done your club, I always sold really well, had a great time. And then when I did one of my tour shows, it was really quiet. And I remember getting the yours, and you were like, how many's in? I was like, I know, whatever. And you actually made me see clearly after this. You were like, yeah, no, the ones you should have just booked it through me. I'd have promoted and all, not promoting it for them. So I'd promote the other place and all. And I was like, yeah, you're right. And then I was like, how many sold? And it's like, there was about 30 in. It was still a nice enough night, but I was got it. And you said to me, oh, the last I heard of them was when they booked the room, and that was it. And I was like, I fucking could have done that myself for all that. So after that, I was like, nah, you need something different to that whenever you book somewhere.
Yeah, I mean,
I was very angry about
Are you still up? Do you do your own thing now, or do you?
I'm not. My this tour, I did my last tour with David Hull, who was.
Oh yeah.
Who, like, I genuinely cannot say anything other than he was superb. Fortunately now David is winding down. He's retiring. So he says he's retiring every year for the last 10 years, but
I met him once and once only, and he does not strike me as a guy that would retire.
No, but you know what he loves to do? He loves hiking. So he wants to hike more. He wants to get out. But, like, in terms of, I remember I did a couple of tours and was promised the world by this promoter, and then when he agreed to do it, that's it. And then I was tied into one show with him, and then another big show, and then the second one they just did no promotion. It was during COVID. They booked a big show the night before mine. It's like they did a live tea with me or something. So there's going to be the audience effect and all. They priced the tickets too high. It was just a fucking awful scenario. And then the tour happened, and they just expect you to do everything on social media. Then David did a tour. He goes, listen, we'll do a tour with you during the summer. It's always a bad time to tour, but we'll throw something together. He had picked a load of venues I'd never heard of. I'd picked a load of venues I did. And I was like, I don't know why he's putting me in these places. And all his venues he picked for me sold. Nearly all of them sold well. And better than some of the ones I picked. And then you're going, well, there's a reason he knows. And he just did it differently. Like, there's a venue I'm doing this year on the tour, the Old Church in Cushendun. Never had heard of that venue in my life before. And I went there with David. He had got a couple of flyers out in the area, because again, they were just all social media. Yeah. David was like, you need flyers in these wee towns. He put a banner up in the town, went to Cushendun, sold out, unbelievable show. wonderful like people, the community, the people behind it. I think it was like 150 to 200.
Class.
It's a big number, and it was like just great, and they were all up for it, and it was a lovely venue. They had, now what was funny, the green room was just a kitchen behind a curtain, but it was brilliant.
Yeah.
And I just thought,
Was it in a caravan?
you know, everything about it was just great. And then it made me go, you know what, and now obviously he's not doing any more tours, but my agent's working on it at the minute, and she's been great, and Gary's been sorting it for me. He's been brilliant. So we've kind of taken the experience from all the previous tours and venues that I like, and places that I do well. So I'm back doing the Cushion Done. It's my last show of the tour actually, and a few places I haven't done before, and some places I have. And then like the big Belfast show was going to be, I was going to have my third crack at the Ulster Hall, but we're doing the Europa now instead because it's better value, I suppose.
Okay.
You know, Ulster Hall is very expensive to hire.
Is it? Aye.
Yeah, and so in terms of what you would get
Right.
out the back of it, makes more sense to do somewhere else. And it's been a fun experience, and I'm obviously shitting myself about announcing the tour and the dates and everything and how it'll go. But
When he announced
excited.
that, because I think I saw you had something up.
yeah, Friday I'll be
Excellent.
the 27th. I want to say 27th.
The 27th. I don't know if this will probably be out by then.
So it'll be
That's
on
it.
sale now. DaveElliottComedy.com. There's
Holy shit.
all the ticket links are available. On
So what
there.
are you doing on your date?
No, I don't know. I could do Newry date if there's somewhere in Newry. Maybe Monabry could be a spot. Maybe I'll
That
see.
could be a spot actually.
Could add it on,
It's
see if
very
they'll go
hard.
for
That's
it.
me and Darren are
Yeah.
having awful wild trouble at the minute trying to get a venue that is an appropriate size.
Yeah.
And it's
What
so
would you be
difficult.
looking like? Sort of a few hundred.
80. No,
80?
but
No?
even for
Like
like
a regular
for like a
thing?
monthly, so maybe 70, between 70 and 100.
Yeah.
Impossible, because it's there's one place in particular that is absolutely perfect, but for logistical reasons it's not available, and there's another place, and I don't know, it's just difficult. I don't know,
See, that's one thing. Like I'm one thing I'm glad about it. Don't really book gigs anymore. You know. Like I've so ones like even with the Action Mental Health gigs, they kind of came to me with people that they told me to ask really who they wanted. So
you've got some lineup for that though. That's
Yeah.
on the 30th of May, I think.
yeah,
I'm in
the 30th. There's 30th and the 29th and 30th of May we're doing the Mac, and then the 17th we're in
Yeah,
Millennium Forum in Derry. So
it's lovely.
mhm.
I've done there. I opened for Diona in there, and I was like, that was one of the biggest gigs
yeah,
outside of Newry. Because what's there in there?
It's
About
it's
500.
I think it's a bit more than that, maybe 6, 7, maybe
Uh.
800 in there, I think. But it's big, like, and but I mean, I don't know. I didn't really know. Like, Derry's an odd one because you can either sell really well there, or really it's hard to know what the kind of the atmosphere is. And again, I don't think there's any comedy club there anymore. Like, I think Brickwork has kind of stopped. Now I don't know whether whatever that bar will become will have another comedy club or whatever. But
Well,
I think
Fenton and Ronan were doing the Maldron.
yeah. That's
Um,
right, yeah.
so
And the
they've done
Kosh as well, I've done too.
Yeah, the only place I've ever done in Derry is the Maldron and that gig for Diona. But it was great.
Yeah, no, Derry's a good spot, like, and like I think what Fenton and Rowe and Eamon and stuff are doing down there is brilliant.
Yeah.
And I think there needs to be something for everybody across Northern Ireland. Like, I think there has to be, and like, yeah, it's good that there are great clubs. All like, even you like, obviously Daly's has been running for so long, and Oma, it's a class spot. I think what Gary's done with Kiwis has been great as well. Like,
It's
and,
unreal.
it's a great club as well, and I think there's so many places now across the board that you'd be excited to go to. You know, and Newry was always one for me. Like, again, I don't know whether there's anyone that, like, there's any family or friends relations down there, but they're always been very good to me in Newry, and I've always enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So it'd be one, like, there's certain places I do not like that I'd be like, no, that's not for me. Dundonald. But
Dundonald?
yeah, Dundonald. I'd never gigged Dundonald ever again in my life.
Okay.
I've my two worst ever gigs Dundonald.
Did you get chased out of it or something? No.
Near enough, close enough to it. Yeah, I had a full fallout, full family fallout off the back of one gig, and
A family fallout?
yeah,
A family
and
feud?
a family feud off the back of one gig. Now, thankfully, it's kind of subsided now, but that was dramatic. Now, to be fair, I have to shoulder some of the blame because I gave off about people on a podcast, and the word got back, and I got sent the audio of what I said, which, to be fair, was probably a little bit out of pocket. But
Yeah, well, I hope
I was
don't
very,
fucking hear about this.
I was very angry, but we move on, and then the next gig was just the worst gig I've ever done ever in my life, and even thinking about it now makes my stomach feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You know, it was just grim. So,
I'm still to have a real screamer of one.
like a stinker.
A stinker, yeah. Yeah. I'm waiting on it. Like it has to happen at some stage.
But I don't know. Like sometimes it's so weird. Like I feel like, and again, I'm very lucky that I've been on a good run. But now there's all it takes is the odd. Like the weirdest. Well, the last gig that I had that I thought was I was actually opening for Shane in Barcelona. And it was the second gig we'd done that night. The first one was like it was a 10 out of 10. It was brilliant. And I was thinking, this is great. I'm going to come live in Barcelona. And the second show was like, nah, I'll go home.
How does comedy translate? Or how does like Irish comedy translate to like a
you know
European
what?
audience?
Lisbon was different because Lisbon was probably 50-50. You had maybe 50% expats and then the rest were maybe English-speaking Portuguese people. And that it was nice. It was a good time. They were there to listen. I think obviously you have to not speak at the rapid fire pace of our usual dialect, but in Barcelona the first show was packed, all expats on the sauce, ready for fun, ready for a good time, laughing their heads off. The second one was maybe not, it wasn't a full audience, and it was like older folk as well, and it was just a bit like, and it was weird because I thought, oh no, am I having a stinker here? Because Amy Walsh, she was on before me, she's great and she did grand, but it was like I was a bit, when you know you're watching some people are going, give her more than that, like this is funnier than you're giving her. I thought maybe they're just a bit nervous at the start, and then I went on, and like to be fair, on the first show I don't know why I did it. I did a bottle flip straight away and it worked, and everyone was cheering. I got they were all on side from that.
Right.
Tried the bottle flip the second time, didn't work, awkward. And then I was like, but like I think at the end of the set too, like Shane hadn't told me there was no break in the second show because there wasn't the first. So I was supposed to bring him on, but I called a break, and then it was awkward and stuff as well. And I was just telling everybody, like, I fuck Messi, Ronaldo's the goat, and all you Barcelona bastards don't know. And I was giving off to them and all about this. And then I thought, oh no, am I losing the plot here? And then whenever Shane was on, he was like, yeah, they were quiet too. Like, it was just a bit
you are beholden to your audience, like.
Yeah.
That can be a bit. Yeah, you do think to yourself, like, why am I not getting more? Like, I had a gig there on Saturday night, and
where was it?
It was in Newry Town Hall.
Oh, very nice.
But it wasn't one of ours.
Oh, whose was it?
Somebody that's Newry Council deemed worthy to facilitate the comedy portion of the Newry Arts Festival.
Okay.
Not me and Darren.
Okay.
Someone else.
Okay.
So, there was. So the Town Hall's great. You did it.
Yeah.
And it is a lovely venue when it's full. And it wasn't full.
How many are we talking?
Half full.
I see, yeah, but because it's a big open space.
Yeah, you didn't. So
or is there nobody in the?
No, and like realistically, like the last time we did it was a year ago, and Mickey was there, Mickey and Alan Irwin, and I fucking can't remember who all else was there. We had 150 more in it, so we were just about 50, 60 shy of a full house, and I was annoyed.
Yeah,
I was like, because the balcony was a wee bit thin, which is, whenever you look at it, you sort of go, well, fuck it, that was dead on. Like, but yeah, you could just, and even being on stage, you could sense there wasn't that swell, that warmth in the room. There was laughter, but it just didn't have that. Yeah, that weight behind it.
It's a hard feeling to describe to people as well if you haven't experienced it. But it's that, like even when I did support for Butler in his Mandela Hall show, and something about that Mandela Hall, it's just not. You just like it's not that you don't feel like the laughs trap in the room, and it's like you feel like they're escaping somewhere. There's a coldness to it or something.
It's quite high, isn't it?
And I just thought like that night that I did Newry Town Hall, it was packed to the rafters. You could almost see the smoke above and all. Yeah. It was like it just felt like there was a real.
That was just Mickey Bartlett.
Yeah, but it was class. Like and it's sometimes a shame too, and it's hard to guess and second guess. Selling numbers now, isn't it? Yeah. It's so hard to know.
It is really hard, but I think when you have a full room,
I
think even people that aren't maybe fully sold on the act or sold on the experience, but they get swept away with everybody else. Yeah. So you don't have that wee awkward
There's something too, isn't there, about that? Like, there's so much people are trying to jump on the bandwagon too that maybe don't run comedy or no comedy, and they just think, oh, that makes a good bit of dough, let's do that. And you're like, people think it makes more than it does. There's a lot of risk to renting a big venue and doing stuff, and And I think people are like, oh, I can do that, sure, that's easy. And then if there's too many comedy clubs, people might just not go to see them.
There's a saturation point. But yeah, it's a heart stopper.
Yeah.
It's a fucking heart stopper selling gigs,
Oh.
especially like that gig. Where did we have? One of the last ones was in Newry Market, and it was Teresa was headlining.
Yeah.
And I was worried because, for whatever reason, I'm not going to go all feminist on you here, but people don't. A female headline, unless it's fucking, I don't know, Joanne McNally or somebody, is not going to sell the same way as a male. And I was actually reticent to put the gig on at all. I was like, I know I'm going to have to pull this.
Yeah.
And I was saying to Darren, I was like, I had all the promotion there ready to go, and I was like, I know this is going to be a slog, and I know it's going to be fucking 50 or 60 tickets sold, blah blah blah. Long story short, no, we were sweet, we were dead on. We had a little bit off 200, which is capacity, and I was so happy, and it was a great gig. It was lovely, and Teresa fucking killed it.
Yeah,
everybody loved her. But I was shiting myself.
Yeah. See, that's another frustrating thing too. Like with to use Teresa as an example, as a stand-up, she is fucking great. Like, she's one of the best. She's fucking hilarious. She's a brilliant act. But sometimes people, it's weird that if you don't have an online presence per se, it's almost like people go to look at somebody just because they've seen them online. Yeah. And like, there are people who maybe have much higher number of followers online, but they have nowhere near the actual talent or craft that something like a Teresa has. So sometimes you have to almost, people just need to go and trust that the people that are booked are going to be good, you know, and not worry that they've seen them on podcasts or seen them doing clips or.
You're definitely right, and I know, I know that, and it speaks to people's impatience and just how things go. And that short form, make me laugh in 15 seconds, or I don't know who you are. Yeah. And Teresa's too good for that. Yeah. And the annoying thing about her is that she's as funny in front of the piano as she is behind it. Oh,
I'd almost say better. I think she's fucking great.
Yeah.
She's brilliant. But again, it's that thing too. You're like, it is an all encompassing thing. Like, see the people who you see putting all the clips up. If people doing that, you can't manage. If you're an independent trying to start yourself and you have your life to live and other things to do, you can't be sitting around editing clips of yourself all day every day. And even like, look at coming up with the tour coming out, I've gone, right, I'm going to have to watch my bastard hour here. I'm going to have to clip it up. I'm going to have to be not stressed about if it's not a 10 out of 10 clip. Just have to put it up for the sake of it. And there's a weirdness about that too.
And I suppose, like, for the likes of yourself who has got two Waynes fucking pulling ahead of each other, and you're trying to manage that, and you're trying to work out which is the funniest fucking 35 seconds out of this hour. Yeah. And caption it, and and what time do I put it up at? What's the best time to put it up at? And then you do all that, and you mightn't get a slap of views, and you're like, fuck's sake,
and it's like, and that's the thing. Like, I try to always think, right, now, let's make sure that the hour's good. So if people do come and see it, like I was with the last tour that I went on to the places like Cushendun, even the Ardone and Enniskillen, I did the bar there, and it was a 90 or 100 in that front bar, and it was sold. And I was like, how the fuck? And that's, again, David knows what he's at, so not me, David Hull.
I might have to have a word with David himself.
Yeah, because he's like, he would, and this is another thing that I think is really important, that David has experience that you can learn. He's done things and forgotten things that people never learn in their lifetime in this industry, and he will meet you, he'll have a coffee, he'll give you advice, he will give you what he knows. He won't gatekeep, he won't he wants to see that people succeed, and he is a really good person, and I think you need more people like that, rather than see the people that try to keep secrets to try and help themselves. Never.
Yeah. There's something, like, I mean, life's too short to who gives a shit, like, really.
And that's it. And I think, like, that's why I'm kind of, the pressures I think's more on me for making sure that the hour that I do is a good hour. I'd rather if people come and go, fuck, I was better than I thought it would be, than turn up and go, I wasn't as funny as his clips, or he wasn't as funny on,
Yeah, that there's a lot to be said for that too. Yeah. The Paul Smith factor.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but another thing too, like, I sort of think that sometimes, I don't know whether it's in my head or not, but one of my friends sent me a couple of comments people made about me on Reddit, which I hadn't seen, obviously, so don't go on Reddit. And I'm like, for a start, why send me that? And it was just someone, thankfully it didn't wind me up as much as maybe it has done in the past. But then you're sort of going, you know what? There's literally no agenda other than, like, I kind of am I am kind of what I am. You know, like, if you see me on a podcast, that's kind of like what I am like normally.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I think sometimes there are people who maybe have a much better curated online persona than they are in real life, and people are like, these people are, when really in real life we all know they're fucking nightmares.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas I think sometimes I just try to be who I am and try to convey that, you know. And I know I'm trying to just have a bit of crack. Like, I know at the end of the day we're all stealing a living because we're having a great time doing it. You know what I mean? And I think there's that to it. And
yeah, but I think people know, people can recognize authenticity, and they can smell bullshit a mile away. And whenever they smell it, they can't get that smell out of their nose.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. But I mean, one of the criticisms on this particular comment was I'm a try-hard. I'm like, I don't think I try as hard as I can. I was try. Like, would you rather I just didn't?
Yeah.
You know, or not give a fuck? But
I did.
You know?
I saw, because Butler had put that up. He put up a link to it, and somebody had basically come in on the post and, like, admonished someone for ripping him out, and he was saying to them, you know, here's 2 tickets for my show, blah 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 blah.
I thought that was wild. I said to him, why have you done that? Like, don't do that.
I obviously, because I, like, every time I'm on a podcast, I scar all the comments on every single platform that podcast is on for the negatives, to see what people are saying, and so I went straight on, and I wasn't mentioned once. Yeah. So part of me was like, and then another part of me was like, oh, yeah, don't you know how I fucking am?
Yeah, look, that's that, but that's the thing too. It's like, you just go, you know what? Like, I just think, as well, you have to tell yourself back to it. Like, if you're someone that's willing to troll people, you're just deflecting, aren't you? You know?
Yeah, massively.
It's like, it's just, you have to kind of go.
Massively.
But I do think, like, whenever I actually message them, I was like, man, why have you done this? Like, don't, because if people are online trying to troll you, they want a reaction. They want to think you're looking at it. So if you don't, and so I do try to ignore all that. But then when people send it to you directly on WhatsApp, a screenshot, you're like, why have you done that, mate?
I don't think people leave those guys that are part of that forum or thread or whatever see it as trolling. I think they just, like, feel like they have some God-given entitlement to just to voice their opinion.
Yeah, but you know what?
On a product.
But the cool thing about an opinion is you can keep it. You have to yourself. Like, I have plenty of opinions that I don't often share. Yeah. And then people are like, well, you're on a podcast talking about it. I know sometimes, but a lot of time my opinion, I'll maybe give you a wee bit of it. I've probably given more truthful opinions on this than I have on any, but, like, a lot of times I'll give a wee bit of opinion, but at the same time, if I know I'm on a comedy podcast, I'll try and do the joke.
Have I made you open up?
Yeah, I feel like you have, but then that's your skill. We're in here in this room and you're just bringing it out of me.
I know.
You know?
Do you know what we have completely neglected, and we're sort of, like, I'd say at this stage, like, we've been chatting here for an hour and 10 minutes.
Oh, there you go. It felt like it's been 10.
So obviously the podcast called Muffin Walloper, and I should have muffins here.
All right, to me, Muffin Walloper sounded like it was going to be something sexually explicit.
No.
And, like, I know there are podcasts out there. I've been told now by the young boys that there's podcasts where there's a guy and his wife do a podcast, but they're porn stars, and then at the end they have sex with their guest. So I thought maybe that's what the Muffin Walloper was.
Do you think me and Ollie were going to...
I just think I didn't know what the deal
take
is
Indian,
here.
like, Jesus, no.
Yeah.
No, Muffin Walloper is Victorian slang for an unmarried woman who spends all her time in coffee shops and tea rooms with other unmarried women, and they just talk shit about people.
By the way, that is the greatest.
I know.
The greatest term.
It is.
A Muffin Walloper, because, again, of course, maybe it's just my dirty mind that I thought it was something entirely.
It's threefold. So you have that aspect. You have Muffin Walloper as in the fat element. I literally wallop muffins.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And then you also have the sexy type.
Getting your muffin wallop.
Yeah. And which I'm not, which is great.
I mean, what I would love to see would be you get an attire.
I didn't know where that was going.
An attire of, like, an 18th century woman and do a pose in a tea lady shop. That'd be hilarious.
That's a prompt.
Yeah,
that's a prompt on ChatGPT.
Let's get it. Leave it with me.
Leave it with me. But thank you. You brought me some mini egg cookies.
I did, because we're almost now. I feel like with consumerism now in general, I don't know what time of year it is ever, because as soon as Halloween's done, we're into Christmas. It shouldn't be till December. Now I think I've been eating mini eggs since January, but I feel like it might be Easter maybe next week. The week.
And also with the price of mini egg these days, like that, there could be £20 worth of stuff sitting on that table there.
You know who did the best job ever? That I was like, that you have clearly done this because you're a spoofer and I love it. Martin Lewis did a review of the best mini eggs in the market last year.
apparently Aldi, is it Aldi or Lidl, do a great mini egg.
No, I've not tried, because you know what? I think, and I actually don't want to even... Like, if someone came to me with the fee, the number of pounds I've spent on these things over the last 2 years, speckled eggs from Marks and Spencer's, I think I would be very embarrassed. I think I would be like it now. This year, thankfully, the only good thing in the world, the only thing that's deflated in price has been speckled eggs. Last year they were £3. This year £2.75.
That's mad.
It is mad. But I think, like, if there's £3 a packet and you're buying 10, that's £30. I've easily bought hundreds of packets of those in the last year. So I think I'd be in the thousands of pounds worth of speckled eggs, and I think if someone gave me a fee, I'd be very embarrassed.
The term speckled eggs is sent me.
Mm-hmm.
It's just sent me.
You know what? I'm going to bring you. Well, let's figure out when we're on the bill again together. We're seeing each other next. I'll bring you some of these speckled eggs.
Speckle my egg.
But you know what? They're like, it's a crunchy shell. So it's a crunchy shell, but the chocolate's delicious, and they're sizable. They're about that size too. So you have to, like, my technique with them, I like to pop them in the mouth and leave them there to melt a wee bit first. Apparently, it's a nice wee cup of tea too.
Do you ever put them in the microwave?
Oh no, I wouldn't do that. No.
I've been told that
mini eggs
in the microwave, just for a wee. But I suppose it's, you know, to save you time holding them in your mouth, melting them.
Yeah, and
so
like,
you know,
the only thing I would do like that would be my butter. I like to sometimes soften my butter a bit if I'm, you know, don't like to break bread. Like, I like to break bread with people, but not like actual breaking.
You don't like to tear it asunder.
No, I don't.
I know it's very disappointing, that, isn't it?
I know I tore my bagel this morning. It was an awful thing to happen before I came here.